You never really forget the night your father's past finally shows up at your front door. Not with a bang, not even with fear, just 3 knocks, slow and measured, like whoever was out there already knew how things would go. I still remember that sound, echoing through our little house in Clearwater Pines, the kind of place where folks mow their lawns at sunrise and wave at each other for no real reason. But that night, everything felt off before it even started, maybe because of how Dad always lived, halfway between peaceful and patrolling. He'd double-check every lock, sometimes 3 times, fingers brushing each deadbolt like it was a nervous habit. Most nights I thought it was just him being weird, paranoid. But maybe he was just waiting for something to finally catch up. Sometimes I'd find him sitting alone in the dark, staring out at nothing, drink untouched, face unreadable. When I asked what he was looking for, he'd just say, "Making sure the world's still out there, kid." That smile, never reaching his eyes. So when those knocks came at 3:12 a.m., fan humming, clock glowing dull red, something in me sat up straight. First knock, I was wide awake. Second, my heart started doing that tight little drum. Third, I knew it wasn't a dream. Then, a crash from downstairs, something heavy, not glass, but ceramic, like a vase tipped over. Not dropped, knocked. I tried to tell myself it was the wind, maybe the cat, but we didn't have a cat, and the windows were shut. The silence that followed, it felt wrong, like the house itself was holding its breath. Then, a scrape, soft, deliberate. My feet hit the floor, every instinct screaming to stay put, but curiosity had other ideas. The door to my room creaked open, just an inch. Leah, my little sister, stood there, face pale, hair a mess, whispering my name. She just looked at me, eyes too big, too knowing for her age. "They're at the back door," she said, voice trembling. "Who?" "3 men. I saw them. They got badges. Orange ones. HOA or something. One's got a crowbar." That was when my mind started racing. HOA crowbar. 3 a.m. None of those things belonged together. I peeked through the curtain. There they were, 3 men under the porch light, vests, orange tags, clipboards, radios. They looked official, sure, until you noticed how relaxed they were, like they weren't pretending anymore. One glanced at the house, and I knew. They weren't here about grass height or mailbox paint. They were hunting for something, and they'd picked the wrong house. For a long moment, me and Leah just stood there, frozen, listening to the low, calm voices from downstairs. Not angry, not rushed, just practiced. "You sure?" I whispered. She nodded, eyes glassy. One looked right at me. That image still gets me. Her face at the window, 3 strangers turning toward her in the dark. I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding. Security patrol, maybe. Then I heard it. A metal scrape at the door, the sound of someone testing a lock. Leah grabbed my sleeve. "They're trying to get in." I didn't say a word. I couldn't. Suddenly, footsteps in the hall, bare, measured. Dad. No lights, just his shadow in the doorway, moving like he'd slipped right back into a world he thought he left behind. "What's going on?" His voice was low. Then he saw Leah's face, and that was enough. He squared his shoulders, jaw set, soldier mode. No fear, just focus. He opened the closet beside my bed. I'd always thought the small safe held papers or metals. But when he pressed his thumb to it, I heard the mechanical click, and out came a matte black rifle, looking ordinary but not in his hands. He checked it. No wasted motion, just a cold purpose. "Stay behind me," he said. "If they come through that door, we don't talk. We end it." He moved down the hall, silent and barefoot, Leah clutching my hand behind me. From downstairs, the voices were closer. A click. Pressure. The soft groan of the doorframe giving way. Dad stopped at the stairs, listening, one finger raised for us to stay put. Then he vanished into the shadows below. I watched him go, realizing the man on those stairs wasn't the one who made pancakes on Sundays. He was quieter, harder, every muscle remembering things he'd tried to forget. Downstairs, the whispers stopped. Silence. Then a voice, too polite, too rehearsed. "We've had complaints about your landscaping, sir. Need to inspect the property." I saw Dad's outline shift near the corner. He didn't answer. The handle rattled. Then, the lock cracked with a sound that twisted my gut. Dad's voice came through the dark, final, unyielding. "Last warning." Everything stopped. For a heartbeat, I thought they'd leave. But they didn't. The door shoved open. And that's when the night truly started. The first man stepped in, clipboard raised, scanning the room. Dad fired a warning shot straight up. Plaster dust rained down, lighting the scene for a split second. The fake badge, the crowbar, the flash of fear on the man's face. He bolted, slipping and banging out the door. But then, the second man came in, low and armed. Dad didn't hesitate. 2 shots, sharp and controlled. One in the shoulder, one took his legs out. He hit the tile hard, gun sliding away. Leia covered her ears. I just stood there, frozen. Dad moved, calm, scanning corners, checking the man, pressing a towel to the wound, voice steady. Stay down. Help's coming. Even after everything, he was still saving a life. The first man's shouts faded outside. For the first time, I saw fear on the faces of men who thought they controlled the night. A crash at the side window, glass shattering, flashlight beam. Another figure tried to climb in, gun in hand. The muzzle flashed, and Dad fired. 2 shots. The man dropped back, gun clattering into the sink. Silence. Just the sound of Dad's breathing, slow and steady. He managed everything. Rifle on the table, wounded man's gun cleared and set aside. Every move calculated like the world was a mission again. Sirens echoed closer. Dad stood by the door, breathing heavy, mask slipping for a second. Soldier gone. Just a father again, hands trembling. Call 911. My hands shook as I dialed. When the red and blue lights hit the windows, the scariest sound wasn't the gunfire. It was the silence after, the space where you could hear Dad's breathing, slow and measured. Deputies poured in, voices sharp, rifles raised. Homeowner inside. 2 suspects down, 1 fled. Dad stood calm, hands open, telling them what happened. The lead officer, eyes scanning the room, saw everything. The clean weapon, the tourniquet, the unshaken tone. You handled it clean, Mr. Thompson. Real clean. Dad just nodded. Didn't want him to bleed out. My kids are safe. That's all that mattered. The medics patched up the wounded guy, looking at Dad with something between respect and disbelief. Whoever did this saved the guy's arm. Dad said nothing, just watched Leia wrapped in a blanket on the stairs, watched me stare at him like I was seeing him for the first time. Neighbors stood outside, faces pale, phone cameras glowing. Whispers. Was it the HOA guys again? Dad didn't step out right away. He stayed by the window, eyes still scanning, like he was waiting for another shoe to drop. And then, another noise, faint but real, a thump at the side window. I saw a 4th man, no badge, just dark clothes, working the latch. My body moved before my brain did. I grabbed the fire poker, and when the hand slid in, I swung hard. Glass exploded. The man outside stumbled back, flashlight rolling away. I saw his eyes, wide with shock, then gone. Dad turned, saw me standing over the broken glass, the poker shaking in my hands. He just put a hand on my shoulder. Good eyes, kid. 2 words. Heavy as anything. That's when the adrenaline faded, the shaking set in. I sat down, staring at the shards. Something changes in you, you know? Once you act, you can't go back. Sirens, voices, radios, cops everywhere. The world rushing in to clean up what Dad had already finished. The lead officer wrote on his clipboard, glanced up. From everything I see, you did everything by the book. Dad gave a tired smile. That's the idea. They shared a look. Not quite admiration, just understanding. Dawn crept over the houses, but nothing inside felt normal. Dad stood in the hall, staring at the wall. I found him by the closet, holding a small, hard black case. Inside, a flash drive, silver with a navy stripe. Haven't seen this in years, he murmured. He plugged it in. Encrypted files, maps, surveillance photos, company names. One was ours. That's our street, I said. He scrolled, jaw tight. They weren't just thieves, he said. They were looking for something from you. I asked. Maybe, he answered. But his eyes said it all. Whatever this was, it wasn't over. Later, after the detectives left, Dad just stood by the porch, shoulders heavy. The weight of old pain never fully set down. Leia woke up, asking, "Is it over?" Dad knelt, brushing her hair back, lying for her sake. "Yeah, it's over." But we all knew it wasn't, not really. We ate breakfast together, eggs and toast. Dad asked how we were. Leia shrugged. "I don't like the dark anymore." "That's okay," he said. "You don't have to." "Not yet." He looked at me. "And you?" I told him. "I still think about it. The sound, the glass, the look on his face." He nodded. Good. That means you're still human. Later, Dad grilled outside, the smell of smoke drifting through the yard. You ever think about that night? I asked. Every minute, he said. But it's not the fear that stays. Then what does? I asked. He smiled. You. Her. This. He gestured at the yard, the fence, the sky, the quiet. And for the first time, I realized peace doesn't come with silence. It comes with the sounds you don't notice until you're safe again. Dad sipped his coffee, eyes half closed, the old dog tags glinting on the wall. Quiet's a good sound, he whispered. If this story got you tonight, if it made you wonder what courage really looks like behind closed doors, leave a comment. Tell me what you felt, where you're listening from. Florida, Texas, Ohio, or maybe somewhere quieter. Your words keep these stories alive. Take care of your home, your heart, and the people you'd stand the line for. I'll see you in the next story.